What's going on, YouTube? I'm hanging out with my buddy, ROBUILT, if you guys know him.
Hello,
Bigger
everybody.
Pockets, host of the Bigger Pockets podcast. I've actually been interviewed by him, got to hang out with him in San Diego, been hanging out with him all day over here at our office in Keighley. And I gotta say, guys, you get to meet some phenomenal people in your journey in real estate, and this individual is by far one of my favorites. Not only is he super cute, but he's also one of the most prolific short-term rental investors in our space. So I wanna ask you a ton of questions today.
Please.
But guys, do me a favor and go to his YouTube channel right now and subscribe. Where is your YouTube channel?
It's on YouTube.
On YouTube?
What's
the
pretty
address?
standard. It's ROBUILT, ROBUILT. Rob,
Okay.
and then like I built it.
Yeah. So wait, watch this whole video first, and then
And then
subscribe.
go. We don't want to
'cause-
ruin the
Yeah,
ABD.
we don't want to. We don't.
Average view duration is
Yeah,
very important.
he knows about YouTube. I don't know so much about YouTube, so we're gonna learn a little bit about that. But first, bro, thank you for
For
spending
sure, dude.
time
Thanks for
with
having me on. I'm excited.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I have so many questions, but the first one is where did you come from? I mean, like I know that you were a really prolific short-term rental guy, and I'd heard about your YouTube channel, I'd seen your videos, you know, here and there, and then you just exploded, and I mean, in the best way possible, right? You're all over Bigger Pockets, you're all over my Instagram, you're all over my shorts, and I love your vibe, right? So tell us a little bit about how you got to this spot and then how this meteoric success happened.
Yeah, so my real estate story starts like a lot of people's. I was really broke and I just needed to make money. Like I needed to make money because my wife and I think after all of our bills and student loans, we had like $1,000 extra every month. So we weren't saving, we didn't have a bunch of money. We were living in Kansas City and then we moved to LA and well, of course we were broke and we're like, let's move to LA, that makes sense.
Right.
So we moved to LA and we're renting this apartment. It's like $1,800 and
For trash.
for like 666 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, very odd, right? So it was $1,850 a month. Our mortgage previous to that was $1,100 in Kansas City for like an 1,100 square foot home with a basement. It was amazing. And so we really downgraded and we were paying this monthly rent every month and
Why move to LA?
we just wanted something different.
Okay.
Like, you know, we were just like, let's try it. You know, we can be broke in LA. It's going to be great. And so, yeah, we moved there. And after about 6 months, I was so tired of paying $1,850 for a 600 square foot apartment. And so I was just like, you know what? I'd rather be broke and own a home than, you know, be paying it to like a landlord, basically. And so I was like, let's buy a house. And so that house actually ended up costing $624,000. And
In LA.
In LA.
How'd you
which is-
qualify? Like, how did that?
Big Short. I don't know. It's like not good. They should not have qualified me for it. Like
Got it. So it was in the time of like ninja loans?
no, it was like 2017. So
Oh,
really,
good.
it's
So
10
you-
years
you
after
qualified.
that. Yeah,
Like-
I don't know how though. Really,
Okay.
we weren't making enough. But there was this little studio apartment underneath, 279 square feet. And I remember I told my wife, I was like, I think if we Airbnb it, we can make $2,000 to $3,000 a month doing that. And
Yeah.
she was like, are you sure? And I was like, no, definitely not. But like, well, let's try it.
No.
And so that house was like 4 times more than the house in Kansas City. So really, it's a lot of money. It was a lot of money for us. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, are we really doing this? Like, this is the dumbest thing we've ever done. And I was like, I don't care. Let's build equity. So we buy this house and we had the apartment that we were living in. We were gonna have to break the lease. And I was like, well, how about this? I heard about this crazy concept. You can list your house on this website or your apartment on this website, and people will actually pay you to stay there. It's called Airbnb. And so
This is like early days.
this was, yeah, it was like, I would say like the 2.0 of Airbnb. We're probably in like the 3 or the 4.0 now, but it was really like, it was the Wild
Yeah.
West kind of still.
Yeah.
And so we listed the apartment on Airbnb because I was gonna have to pay like 2 or 3 grand to break the lease, and I was like, we don't have that kind of money. So that apartment actually ended up making $1,000 to $2,000 a month profit, and that was like significant. That was like our student loan payment. I think we were $80,000 in debt at that point, $20,000 in credit card debt, $60,000 in student loan debt, and so yeah, the Airbnb was helping to pay for that. We move into this house and we list that on Airbnb, and we're making $2,000 to $3,000 a month on that little, like less than 300 square foot studio. So $2,000 to $3,000 there. Went to $2,000 on the apartment. We're now able to subsidize our $4,400 mortgage, basically.
And light bulb went off.
Yeah, and I was just like, what if we had 10 of these? And so I built a tiny house in my backyard, and then I built a tiny house in Joshua Tree, and then a small home in Joshua Tree, and then I started partnering up with people, and I kept building my portfolio. So fast forward to 2020, pandemic starts. or 2021, whenever it was. It's all a blur at this point. And I decided, hey, you know what?
March of 2020, for those of you that, since
Yeah.
Rob doesn't remember.
Yeah, it's all a blur. So basically, I was just like, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I'd always wanted to for the past 10 years, and we found ourselves with a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So I uploaded a video, and I did a little crappy vlog of the tiny house that I built in my backyard. It was shot on an iPhone, really just bad. And then I posted it, no big deal, getting like 10 views. And then 6 months later, I remember looking at my computer, and then I was getting like 2,000 views an hour. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm going viral. I'm doing it. And that basically, from the moment I started, all I wanted was 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That was my life goal. And to the day, 0 months to the 6th month, I got 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, I did it. My dreams have come true. I'm ready to rock. Like, this is crazy. I was like, my next goal is going to be 5,000 subscribers. It'll take 3 to 4 years, but it's going to be worth it. And then like a week later, I hit 5,000, and then a week later, I hit 25,000. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. And so it turned out that people wanted to hear me talk about tiny houses and passive income and like how to build financial freedom through Airbnb, because during the pandemic, everyone was just looking for new ways to make money.
Yeah.
And so I really just kind of like leaned into Airbnb and tiny homes. And that kind of just, led into so many crazy opportunities, from filming a documentary with PBS to filming a pilot with HGTV to now being the co-host of the Bigger Pockets podcast. So it's been a pretty crazy trajectory. Like every dream I've ever had is just like, and I think, everyone that's watching this right now and everyone on the channel, I got them to thank for it.
It's incredible, dude. And I started at the same time, to be honest. Like, my YouTube channel started during COVID. I have not had the success you've had.
Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
After this video.
But after this video,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go viral because you guys like him better than you like me. I get it. But the thing about it, bro, and this is the part that I love the most, is that you remain consistent. That you just did the work, even though you were getting 10 views or 15 views or whatever it was. Like, you were like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep
Every week.
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
just gonna
no
make
matter
the
what.
content.
Day in, day out, it's like every Monday we post a video. If we don't post a video on Monday, something happened. I broke my leg or whatever. I don't know. We probably haven't posted a video on Monday like once. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
The world still.
What happened? Why didn't you post a video that Monday?
Yeah, I think it was always like.
You got COVID.
I actually don't think you've got. I think you've edited a video with while you had COVID before. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Damn.
Hey, she's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, I gotta stop asking people what happened. That's a lesson. Why I don't have 150,000 subscribers like Rob is because I ask people too many damn questions.
Read the room.
It's okay.
Yeah. She's doing great.
All right, guys, we're done.
Well, we'll catch you on the next episode. No, but really, I mean, that a lot of stuff has happened, and we're always working to just make sure that it's consistent. But we've had a lot of other editors come in like to fill in, and it's always like the 2 or 3 days before. We're like, can you do it? They'll do it. They'll crush it out. I don't think I've edited a video. I don't know. Caleb has been on the team really since 6 months, really 6-7 months. So it's been about 2.5 years. And day in, day out, man, we're grinding, man. We're getting those videos
You
up,
are,
but-
and I want to talk a bit about the consistency and the tenacity that it requires to do not only the content creation, but to do the business that you're doing, right? Because there's a lot of people that are brand new, getting started. Maybe you find this channel, you find his channel, you find Bigger Pockets, whatever it is that first brought you into this space of real estate, and why you're even paying attention and watching any of this stuff. You're looking for something different. You want a better future. You're trying to find financial freedom. You're trying to find a side hustle. You're trying to do something beyond what's happening in your life right now, and I congratulate you for it. The part about it, though, that I think a lot of us don't like to know is the amount of consistency and tenacity that it requires in order for that success to be achieved. So would you mind speaking to that a little bit? Because, of course, you've been through it. You've had to show up where you didn't want to show up. You've had to do work where it didn't feel like you wanted to do that work today. How do you motivate yourself when you don't feel motivated?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think I have to remind myself that, like, every day is really hard. I mean, people will watch the channel and they're like, yeah, like, it's very funny because a lot of work goes into a YouTube. I mean, we just shot a video, right? Like you saw, we're like, hey, do this, do this, do this. People see the final product and they're like, oh yeah, you just shot like a little 15-minute video, right? But it is a lot of work. Like the editing, planning. I would like to say we plan more, but the kind of planning, the actual like creative brain power that it takes to like get the content out there that we want. Same thing applies to real estate. I mean, it's really, really hard, and there are a lot of times where we want to burn out. There are a lot of times where we're like, all right, it's a grind. It's still a grind. It really is. So much work goes into a 15-minute video, but we really, like, I try to remind myself that this is the dream that I had when I started. You know, like, remember, when I started, I just wanted 1,000 subscribers. So if you could tell 2.5 years ago me that I was gonna have 226,000 subscribers, I think my mind would have melted a little bit, you know? And that all the stuff that I just listed, in bigger pockets. You know, for a long time, my dream, like I was like, what's the equivalent of the Super Bowl for my scenario? That was to actually just be a guest on the Bigger Pockets podcast. And I was a guest on the Bigger Pockets podcast about 13 or 14 months ago for the first time ever. And so when I did that—
And did you know that you were gonna take someone's job?
No, I had no idea. I just wanted to be on the podcast, and then when they called me, I was like, I've done it. I've like elevated to this position, and it was really crazy. Look, I got like goosebumps just talking about it because I genuinely, that was a dream come true. And then I thought it went horribly. I like finished the thing. I closed my computer. I was like, I ruined it. It's so bad.
I mean, I saw that episode. He did a bad job.
I did a bad job, but it's okay.
You did a great job.
Because I became the co-host later.
You sure did.
But that was my dream, right?
Yeah.
And then about 6 months after that, they called me and they were like, would you be interested in filling in for Brandon? And I was like, let me check my schedule. And so I really try to remember that. It's really hard because a lot of goals have been crushed. A lot of dreams have been achieved. And it's tough because like once that happens so much, it becomes the norm and it's easy to forget. So I really do try to like remember at the core of it, like what did Rob want 2.5 years ago?
Right.
I got it all and more. And it's just crazy because I'm just like, it's tough. So really like trying to remember that every day.
Your dreams came true.
The dreams came true, they're coming true. And that does make it worth it. And honestly, dude, you know, at the end of the day, like the amount of comments that I get and DMs and emails from people who say that their like lives are changed through the content, or like I've been hosting meetups, taking a page out of your book here. Literally the past month I've hosted 3. And the amount of people that have been like, dude, you are the reason I bought my first Airbnb, or like you are the reason I quit my job to expand my portfolio. It's crazy. People tell me that all the time and I'm just like, wow. So when I post a video that's like tanks, like a 10 out of 10 on YouTube, like the worst performing one out of the last 10, I really try to remember that even though that's like a video that may not have performed well, if all the people that watched it, like for me, a video that doesn't perform well would be like, I don't know. I can't tell you what the number is, but I'll get really bummed about it. But then I'll tell myself like, if all these people were in a room or in a stadium, it would be crazy. And it's like really trying to put into perspective the amount of people that
like a tank video
reaching.
for you is like 20,000?
No, it's like 5.
Okay, so if you put 5,000 people in a room, you'd be like, oh my God, these 5,000 people love me. That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
It's
like
even on a tanking video, it's like,
it's
I
5,000
did incredible.
people. It's 5,000 people, and even on a taking video, someone can watch it and say like, holy crap, like that's what Rob just said is crazy, and I'm going to use that to go and like do it. So it can still motivate thousands of people, and like we get in this game of content where you like compare yourself to like the Brandon Turners who's crushing it, or like you guys, right? You guys have so much good content, and there's like so many people in the space that I'm like, man, I wish I could be like that, and I'm like, well, I will be.
It's such an interesting thing that, you know, the host of the Bigger Pockets podcast wants to be like other people when there's like other people who just want to be like you.
Yeah.
And the fact is that we're all really just these insecure little like peons in our heads, when in fact we're lions and we're inspiring folks out there in the world. And we really have to step into that power. We have to own it, right? We have to remember that there's people who are in different situations from us who are looking at us, and they don't understand that little crappy voice in our head that wants to compare us to everybody else and doesn't want to give us the accolades that sometimes maybe we deserve, or the attaboy or whatever it is, right? So attaboy.
Yeah.
You've done fantastic.
But that's how I felt at BPCon. It was like me, you, and like Pace, and then Pace was like he's like, dude, your channel's good. He's like, Jimmy, you're like, and then we're like that Spider-Man meme where you're like pointing at each other. It's like, I love you. No, I love you. And it's like getting in the room with all your heroes is always nice.
It is.
Because like literally everyone in the network and like all you guys, everyone's nice.
Yeah.
It's so great whenever like your heroes are actually like legit. They're the
Yeah,
they're the heroes.
The
that you
only
think.
person I would say is not nice is David Green.
David, fix yourself, man.
No,
Nah,
he's actually
great.
wonderful.
Yeah,
He's a beautiful man, and
He is a
he would
beautiful
just
man.
laugh at that joke. That's
Yeah.
why I had to do it. But you and I have some similar backgrounds, right? And it's interesting that we connected on that because we both wanted to be comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, how did real estate and your job as a content creator, how did you bridge that? Were you trying to exercise that comedic part of you that say,
Yeah.
hey, I want to create some content, I want it to be funny, I want it to be my personality, and I'm gonna do it in the thing that pays me, which is real estate. How did that come to be?
Cool. So I'm a weird person, like weird comedy, quirky. I have very interesting jokes that half the time land, maybe 25% of the time. So I remember I wanted to start a YouTube channel for like 10 or so years, and the reason I started my channel is I went to lunch with some friends on December 23rd. It was before I quit my job. I was working at it as a copywriter. at
You
an ad
remember the
agency.
day, so it's an important day.
It is, because we were sitting around. It was the day before we broke for Christmas, and we were having lunch, and someone said something about YouTube, and I was like, oh man, yeah, YouTube. I've always wanted to start a channel, kind of like a DIY channel, but like the weird, quirky version of a DIY channel. And they were like, dude, you should do that. Like all of them at the same time. They're like, why don't you do that? And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, do that. And I was like, okay. And so a week later, I recorded my first video, and the week after that is when I posted it. So January 7th is when I posted my first video, January 7th, 2020. And I posted it, and it got dozens of views. It wasn't, but I was like, oh my God, 12 people watched my video. They might have laughed, who knows? And I just want it to be a very different version of DIY, because it's always like, hey, here's how you build this, you cut this and that. And so my third video was that tiny house vlog that I was telling you about, and that's the one that went viral, and I was really bummed about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh man, I was like, that's the video that went viral, not my DIY stuff. I was like, tiny house content and real estate, because everyone, when I started, they're like, are you gonna talk about Airbnb? And I
Yeah.
was like, God no, that's so boring. Like all the Airbnb content is boring, tiny houses are boring, like I don't want to talk about it. No one wants to hear about that. So when I went viral on that concept, I was bummed because I was like, oh man, do I really have to make boring tiny house content? It's so like bad out for the most part. And then I just remember thinking like, what if I could just be like the funny version of real estate? Like what if I could just be myself and talk about real estate? And that's kind of like, I made that decision really early on into that first moment of virality. And I was like, you know what, let's do it. And so all the content I would make was about my tiny house and Airbnb, and I would just insert all my weird jokes and stuff like that. And people were like, oh my God, that's funny. You're so different from like the way other people talk about it. And so I really leaned into it, and I just went all in. I went all in on that.
I think that is one of the main reasons why you're so relatable and why people love you, is because you not only educate us, but you make us laugh. Like you do it in a way that is easy to digest, that makes everybody, and for that matter, say, hey, I could do that. This is a normal guy with a great personality, great sense of humor. I don't think he's any taller than 5'8", and he's
7.5, but it's okay.
He's absolutely crushing it in life, right? And so like I kind of resonate with that too, because I'm also not taller than 5'8", and I consider myself to be humorous, but
Yeah.
you know, real estate changed my life, right? And so like we do this thing and we share it with the world, and in return we get to change people's lives.
For
and
sure.
that's a fulfilling thing, right?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like when I was kind of up for the Bigger Pockets role, I was like, why? I don't understand. They're like, well, you know, you're fresh, like you're funny, like we think you could bring like a good element to it. And I was just like, I mean, I guess. And it's funny because when I started the podcast, like, you know, I would say like if my YouTube channel is like when I'm on camera, I'm exactly who I am off camera. But maybe on YouTube, I'm like 11, not quite the 10 I am in life or whatever. And so on the podcast, I'm always like, when I was starting out, I was like at a 2 or 3. I wasn't really bringing the jokes or whatever, you know.
You got really comfortable though, because
Yeah.
on ours you were raw.
Oh yeah, but that's because you're very easy to talk to. You know what I mean? We were like chopping it up at the beginning, and it's like always nice to like warm up with people and stuff, and the energy was good. But then I talked to one of our producers and kind of directors a couple months ago, and they're like, dude, just you can do it, man. Be funny, like bring it. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, bring your weird jokes. And I was like, fine. And so I've really been letting loose, and it seems like it's actually working.
It's doing better than
people like
working,
it.
bro. Like I read the comments, and they love you. They love you.
Stop,
they love your
stop,
jokes. They love
please
everything
stop.
about it. No, I mean, like you truly are. Like you're a light in the world of what we do, right? So
Well, I appreciate
continue
that.
doing that and continue being that guy. I need to know, right? Because there's obviously you've had some hiccups. You've had some like setbacks in life. Can you describe one of them and how you got over it? Everybody's got them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what they are. I don't know. I'm really bad at hiring people. Like, our team is really just me and like on the content side is me and Caleb basically. And
Wow, you
I
can
think,
get all that with just two of you? Hey, Bobby, can you fire half the team?
no, it's that. But that's the thing is like we really want to like expand the team. I mean, we talked last night about all right, there's two of us. What if we hired like 5 more people? And it really just makes it tough. Like I do everything. Like in terms of like all my other businesses and really, I've got obviously partners and team and stuff like that. But I'm really bad at delegating or giving stuff to other people. And then Caleb is like on the editing side too. And we don't want to. We're scared to give it to other editors because we're like, no, it's so special with us too and stuff like that. So it obviously creates a really good product. But I think we really want to scale up the team and really build the brand and the content side of things. Because like, obviously, everything comes at a price, right? Like success is great. Like I love where I am. I love where the channel has gone. But I also have a family, and I also have 2 kids. I have a 1 and a 2-year-old, and I want to spend time with them. And it's like this really crazy catch-22. Where it's like I work so hard to provide for my kids, but when I hang out with my kids, I'm stressed about not working so that I can provide for the kids. And so like that's my big struggle is. I'm like so like spread thin and in the work that I'm like, okay, I really want to like start hiring a team and like actually being better at business.
You're going through what a lot of us go through, and you're 100% in it right now, and it's tough. There's sacrifices that need to get made in order for you to get to this position in life. It is what it is, right? And I deal with the same thing with my family. I basically sleep 10 nights a month in my bed. Pace and I are out in the world always doing meetups or whatever it is. And so like you have to have a sacrifice, and you're making the sacrifices right now for what you're creating right now. And so you'll be able to.
It's hard,
It's hard.
It's hard. But like as far as like the hiccups or whatever, honestly, it's been a pretty good 2.5 years. Like I have very little complaints. There hasn't been anything catastrophic. It's just more dad guilt than anything. And that's like I want to be there for the kids.
Good dad, Rob.
Well, dang it, that's what it is. It's tough. Yeah, I want to be a better dad. We all want to be better dads, better husbands. Yep. But it's like, gosh, man, it's really hard to scale and do that. And I also employ. I mean, you probably can feel this, but I employ like 15, 16 people. I got to make sure that they're getting paid. I got to make sure that they're providing for their families and stuff like that. It's like tough. So it's like. Now it's even outside of just my family. I'm not just providing for my family. I'm helping provide for like 15 sets of families. And so the pressure to succeed can be pretty intense sometimes.
It can be.
But it's entrepreneurial struggles. I mean, but I'll go to places like this, right, where I see your operation. It's like very inspiring to see that it is possible. Or we hung out with Pace for a little bit yesterday for a collab. His whole team, he was explaining it to me. I'm like, that's crazy. I see people like Ryan Pineda, who's just a freaking machine with like 8 businesses, and they're all built out. Like, it's just crazy. It's good to see other people's like machines and what they've built, because I'm like, okay, that's possible. I can do it. All I have to do is like do it. Like I just have to like try. And I really haven't been trying all that hard because it's like this like, it's just scary to hire someone because like you're very nervous that they're not going to perform at the level of like the superstars on the team.
Yeah, but superstars are trained, they're built, right? You have to put them into that spot and then give them the necessary tools and training to get to that position where they rise. But we can talk about that in another video, I'm sure. Just like hiring talent and making them and helping them perform at their peak level is a whole science in itself. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to ask, right? If there is somebody out there right now who's watching and they want to be a Rob, they want to be able to come into their own skin, and they want to live in their world authentically with purpose and provide value to the people. But they're stuck. They're in a situation right now that's like dead end, or they're just not seeing an opportunity. What advice do you have for somebody that might feel trapped?
Man, I honestly think life is like a reps game. It's all about reps. You got to just keep trying. Like if you really want something, it's very rare that stuff is just gonna fall in your lap. Like, you have to actually go out and do something, and you have to do it a lot. And for me, my biggest fear in life, or my biggest thing that I hate, is like sucking at something. And so, like, for example, I've always wanted to wholesale, right? But I don't want to suck at wholesaling. I'm already really good at Airbnb. I'm really good at YouTube. And every time I take on a new skill, I suck at it, and I hate that. And you have to kind of like embrace the suck a little bit. You know, you have to understand that you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck really bad. And the only way that you're not gonna be a total crap at whatever you're trying is by doing it over and over and over and over again until it hurts. And then one day, it's gonna feel really easy because you're like, oh yeah. And then like a year later, you'll look back and think, oh my God, I can't believe I was so wrapped up about this one thing that's like a 5-minute solution.
Great advice. How can people get a hold of you, Rob, if they want to do business with you, learn how to do Airbnbs, follow your social media channels? Where can we find you?
You can find me over on YouTube at ROBUILT, and you can find me on Instagram at ROBUILT. Shoot me a DM there. If you want to learn how to get into Airbnb, you can go over to hostcamp.com. We'll leave a link in the description. Special link in the description. Go click that, and that's pretty much it. Find me, or find me every Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday on the Bigger Pockets podcast channel. But have me on your show sometime, all right? You say all these nice things, but you've never invited me. Come on.
Oh, come on.
I'm calling you out on YouTube.
He's invited. This is our invitation. You're
Yeah,
there.
all right, man. I'm
Rob,
on.
it's been a pleasure to have you here. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you have not already, subscribe, because both of our kids are watching now.
That's right.
And also,
They need
leave us
your
a
like.
comment and just tell Rob how you like his hair, how you think he's handsome, and that
Thank you.
that you have been inspired by this
And
incredible
that I
human
look
being.
taller than 5'8", hopefully.
And that you think he's taller than
Yeah,
5'8".
that would be nice.
Guys, until the next time, thank you so much for watching.
Bye. See ya.
Thanks for watching another one of my YouTube videos. Now it's your turn to go out and take some action. But before you do, like and subscribe to my channel, because the law of reciprocity means you owe me.